Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. Your video is about to start shortly. Please take this opportunity to hit the like button down below, leave some comments, tell your friends. Interaction, likes, subscriptions help my channel to grow and help me to keep producing content for yourselves. If you're new to my channel, check out the other videos that I've got. There are over 500 videos at this stage, so there should be something there for everybody. Okay, so tonight we're going to tie a classic Spey pattern. This is the Lady Caroline, but we're tying it for fishing. So what we're going to tie it on is a Tiemco 7999. This one happens to be a 2.0. And I'm going to use a black tie-in thread for this. So for this one I'm using, this is Techstream. So it's a Techstream 6.0 standard black. Started at the front and work it down the shank. So I'm probably going to go to just about the point of the hook. So whenever you let your thread hang, your bobbin holder, it will show you the point directly where you're relative to it. Okay. There's no tag as such in this fly, so the tail is a golden pheasant red feather. So I'm going to take one of those and I'm going to strip it, and then I'm just going to sort of brush it back together and then pinch it. That kind of folds it slightly. And tie that in on top. So that's our tail. So this fly has a complex rib. I'm going to use 3 different ribs here. And what I'm going to use is a flat gold, and I'm going to use a oval gold, and I'm going to use an oval silver. So let's get the 3 together. So what I'm going to do is take the 2 ovals together. I'm going to set them on my side of the hook. Tie them in, but not right to the back just yet. And then I'm going to set the flat gold up, but on the far side, and that means that when we start to wrap them, they'll start from slightly different points. So as I wrap back, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold my oval silver down and wrap these tinsels back to the tail, and that means we now have 3 separate starting points, which will allow that when we wrap them on the hook, they won't all be sort of crushed together at the back. The body on this fly then is a Berlin wool, and it's a mix of olive and browns, and it's probably 2 parts brown to 1 part olive. So I'll add that, start to twist it. Once it starts to twist, I'll catch a couple of fibers. That gives me an anchor point to allow it to twist further, and now I can turn it into a nice tight rope. I'm going forward here to about a little bit beyond the midpoint. When we run out, I just add a little bit more. I'm happy enough with that. So hackle on this fly is blue-eared pheasant or heron. Blue-eared is not that overly long of a hackle. The fibers are long, but the hackle stalk itself is not. So it wouldn't stretch the full length of this body. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to separate it back like this, and I'm going to tie in across that last bit of stalk and then fold it back over itself as I tie it in. And then I continue the body with more of my wool mix. Start it going. Once I have it started, I can stretch it down as I twist it. back up to where my wool had quit previously, and then start to come forward. So here I'm stopping I'm just onto the return part of the eye here. Now, first thing I'm going to wrap is the flat gold. So this is actually an antique metal flat gold, and you want to take that up in about 4 turns. If you try and get too many turns on, everything is going to get cramped on you. And the fact that you've got multiple ribs to come will fill up the space, even if it looks a little bit anemic to begin with. Next then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the silver oval and I'm going to wrap that, and I'm keeping that one just a little bit behind the flat gold. In this case it's coming up just behind the hackle. And tie that off as well. So the difference that's going to happen now is that I am going to wrap the hackle, but I'm going to wrap the hackle in the reverse direction than we had wrapped the tinsels. So I'm going across them, and then the final tinsel here, this oval gold, will come in the same direction as the previous tinsels, but it will come across the wraps of hackle in there for tie the hackle in or make it more secure. So I'm actually going to do one sort of full turn just where I'd started the hackle, and then I'm going to advance forward. So you can see that I'm kind of stroking the hackle fibres as I go rather than having fully doubled it to begin with, and this means that it'll give more body to them. They'll stick out at slightly different angles. And I'm just twisting or rotating the stalk as necessary to get them lying in the direction that I want. So you can see the fibres are sticking out all over the place, and that will add to the fishability of this fly, so don't get overly hung up on preening it. Okay, so for now, to wrap this final rib, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stroke those forward. That'll stop them getting in my way as I'm wrapping here. And then when I get up to the point where the hackle begins, I can then sort of wrangle it in through those fibres. Stroke them back as we proceed past them. And tie off the hackle. So that last rib has completed our sort of beading effect, and it has secured our hackle. So now we're going to put on our throat. So the throat on this fly is a golden pheasant red feather again. So I'm just going to strip off the fluff from that one. I'm going to find the center of the hackle, just grab those few fibres, and again stroke the rest back so as we end up with this effect. Place that up against the hook, tie across the last little bit of stem, fold it back and a couple of turns over that to hold it in its place, right? And then I'm just going to wrap that between my finger and thumb each time, and that will double it as we go. Tie that off. I'm just going to fold it back, that way there's no way it's going to pull out. And I'm going to create a little head base here for us, and then snap that. So I said, don't get too hung up on preening this, and certainly don't do this with it and pull it all below, because it's not natural, and when you fish it, it's just going to go back to this position anyway. So what I want is actually that the wings are going to sit with some of this material sticking up between them. So wings on this fly are bronze mallard. So I would say choose a feather where the fibers are fairly similar to the length that you want to use. You don't want to use huge bronze mallard. And what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to do something which I've discovered from old flies I've taken apart, and I'm going to tie on multi-layered wings. So I'm going to be predominantly using, say, this section here of the bronze mallard, closest to the base of it. It's more webby, it has a sort of grey base to it, but I'm going to put on 2 thicknesses of that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip off a strip, that's one wing. I'm going to strip off the next bit off the feather as well, and then I'm going to lay them on top of each other. Now my preference would be for the more grey webby bit to be on top, and then I'm going to place this on the side of my hook, and the tip of it is coming back to around about the bend of the hook here, although you can tie it much shorter if you feel like. So I'm using or utilizing the natural curvature of this feather, and I wrap my thread over it so it's slightly cloaking the side of the hook, and here it's just coming to the midpoint of the head roughly. Now we need to repeat the process on the other side. So we take a feather that has the appropriate shape for that side. I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to use my thread just to slowly tension it up. Now I'm having it meet here in the center, the two are meeting each other, and it's slightly going around the edge there. When I'm happy with it, then I can tighten up into it and see will it sit for me. Hopefully it will. And that is essentially our fly tied. We just need to trim it up now, so sharp scissors, trim off the waist ends of our mallard. And then we need to create a head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clear varnish, my needle, and I'm just going to varnish those bases of the tie. It's just for extra security. And then I'll hold my wing in place. I'm going to create my head. Once I'm happy with it, then I'm going to finish. You can use a whip finish tool, I don't. Trim that off. And then again, I'm going to varnish it with the clear varnish, and then that will be followed up when it dries with a coat of black. So there we have our Lady Caroline Spey fly. As you can see, we have some of the fibres of the body hackles, etc., coming between our wings. And I think that it's going to happen when you fish it anyway, but I think it makes it more authentic looking. Some of the old ones I took apart actually had wings that were separated by figure of 8 wraps once they had them on, and some of them were quite kicked up. But there we go, a Lady Caroline for fishing. So hopefully you like what you see. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, check out all the other videos on the channel. Until next time, tight lines. Thanks for watching.